Hello folks, Rob Dreemeyer here. Welcome to Broadway Barfly. Today we're talking about the musical Finian's Rainbow and we're making a mint julep. If you're a theater fan who loves a great cocktail, click that subscribe button because Broadway Barfly is the channel for you. Yip Harburg is one of the most celebrated lyricists of our great American songbook. He was born to immigrant parents in 1896 and he was raised in poverty on New York's Lower East Side. It was his childhood upbringing that greatly influenced his political beliefs as an adult, and he was a lifelong advocate for social justice. His first hit song was Brother Can You Spare a Dime, which became the everyman anthem during the Great Depression. He's probably best remembered for having written the lyrics to the songs for the film The Wizard of Oz. He worked in Hollywood until he was blacklisted during the McCarthy era because he refused to name names to the House Committee on Un-American Activities. Throughout his career, Yip Harburg wrote a number of Broadway musicals, all of which had socially conscious themes. His most famous and enduring is Finian's Rainbow, which opened on Broadway in 1947. He co-authored the book and he wrote the lyrics to Burton Lane's score. Finian's Rainbow is about an Irishman who steals a pot of gold from a leprechaun and he moves to the United States to the fictitious state of Mississippi. Once he's there, he plants his pot of gold near Fort Knox, where he believes it will grow and his wealth will multiply. The plot begins to unfold as people unwittingly make wishes over the place where the gold is buried, and those wishes start to come true. The African American sharecroppers of the valley are given this newfound wealth in the form of charge accounts, which allows them to make purchases they've never been able to afford before. There's also a racist senator who's transformed into a black man and subjected to the same discrimination that he inflicts upon others. Harburg wrote Finian's Rainbow in response to the Southern politicians of the day who supported segregation. He said that the only way he could control his anger was to take these politicians, write them as a character, and then subject that character to the Jim Crow laws that these politicians so vehemently defended. Finian's Rainbow has a magnificent score. It includes the songs Look to the Rainbow, How Are Things in Glockamora, and Old Devil Moon. It was a hit on Broadway, and for many years it was a staple in stock and amateur theaters, but is rarely produced today, and probably with good reason. While it was considered a progressive piece of writing in 1947, by today's standards it's considered politically incorrect. One especially problematic element is that when the white senator is transformed into a black man, historically the actor plays that part of the show in blackface. When City Center's Encore series revived Finian's Rainbow and that production transferred to Broadway in 2009, they were able to eliminate the blackface by simply hiring two actors to play the role. But in spite of that change and also revisions to the script, many people still feel, and rightfully so, that it's just too far out of touch with today's heightened sensitivities towards racial injustice. The mint julep, which is our cocktail today, shows up in a scene where a young African-American college student named Howard is being trained to work as a butler in the senator's home. One of the senator's lackeys is showing Howard how he wants him to serve the mint julep to the senator, and of course he's asking him to behave in a very stereotypical manner. Later in that scene, the senator is experiencing some sort of an attack and he's writhing in pain, calling out for his Broma-Seltzer, and so Howard is able to exact a little bit of revenge on the situation. The scene is both funny and cringeworthy, but then again, that is the point. I'm going to play you a clip of that scene from the film version of Finian's Rainbow because it's almost identical to the stage script. The film version of Finian's Rainbow was released in 1968, 20 years after the show played on Broadway. And there are a couple of reasons it took so long to make the film. One is because the show toured successfully for several years after it closed on Broadway, and the authors were in no hurry to have a film release that might impede the success of the stage show. The other reason is because we're talking about the 1950s and 1960s, and Hollywood was in no hurry to make a film that offered commentary on race relations, and certainly not a musical film that was written by someone who they had blacklisted. But by 1968, times had changed, and Hollywood did take a second look at Finian's Rainbow, and ultimately the film got made because they saw it as a vehicle for one of the film's stars, Petula Clark, who stars alongside Fred Astaire and Tommy Steele. So let's roll the clip.
Let me see you serve that julep. Oh, Rawkins won't like that. That's no way to serve a julep. It's too fast. Get some shuffle into it. You've seen some of the new movies like Birth of a Nation and Gone with the Wind, haven't you? Here, George, like this.
Howard.
Yeah, okay, Jackson. Yo, julep, sir. Mass Hawken, sir. All frosty and minty. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You see, George?
Why do I have to shuffle?
Howard! Oh. Howard! Bring the center promo salsa! Yeah. And call my lawyer. Tell him to find a loophole. Where's that bromo? Oh. Where's that bromo, Howard? My loophole's choking me. Oh, where's that bromo? Come in, Mazzans! Come in! I'm coming on in there, yes, sir! Yeah, I'm coming, Mazz. Will you hurry up with that bromo? You won't enjoy it, Mazz, once I get to you. Will you bromo? Come in there, fast as I can, Mazz. Will you hurry up with that? Where's that bromo? Fix up your head good, Mazzy. Sure gonna make you feel. Where's that bromo? Please, hurry up with it. Come on, Howard! Come on! Come on, hurry up with that. Howard, come on! Right in there! Please bring me back. Howard! Hold on, I'm coming in. Howard, come on! Bring that kid over here!
The julep is a very old drink, and it was first intended to be a way to administer medicine. An English julep, for example, was alcohol mixed with some camphor. But the mint julep is purely an American creation, and it's closely associated with the South. The first evidence of a mint julep in print was in 1770. There was a play titled The Candidate that had a character named Mr. Julep, and I should point out Mr. Julep was a drunken character. Also that year, the mint julep was described in a poem that was published by the Williamsburg Gazette. By the 1820s, the mint julep had become very closely associated with Virginia, and in particular Richmond, Virginia, because there was a man there named Jasper Crouch who was known as a julep master. Now, there's not a lot known about Jasper Crouch, but he was a free man of color. He was a well-known cook and bartender, and apparently for a time was employed by a United States Supreme Court justice, and his juleps were considered to be legendary. In modern times, the mint julep has become very closely associated with horse racing, and in particular the Kentucky Derby. The reason for that's pretty simple. It's because in 1938, Churchill Downs entered into a promotional partnership with the Brown-Forman Company. Churchill Downs is the track, of course, where the Kentucky Derby is run, and Brown-Forman is the company that makes Old Forester. And this promotional partnership in one form or another has been in place ever since. I've been looking forward to making this video because ever since I started Broadway Barfly, I've really been trying to learn as much as I can about mixology, cocktails, and spirits in general. And late this summer, I was able to take a trip to the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. And while I was there, I got to visit Churchill Downs. They have a great tour and also a really wonderful horse racing museum. And I was also able to visit the Old Forester Distillery, or rather, it's not so much their distillery as it is a visitor center, but they do take you through their distillation process. They show you how they char their barrels, and they also have a really excellent tasting. So let's make our mint julep. To make our mint julep, we need bourbon, simple syrup, and fresh mint leaves. This is a drink that you make right in the glass you're going to serve it in. Now you could use an old-fashioned glass, but traditionally they're served in julep cups like this because they're metal and they help keep the drink colder longer. So we start by adding our mint leaves to the cup, a bunch of them. I think I have maybe 8 or 10 of them there. And then we add a ½ ounce of our simple syrup. And with our muddler, we give this a good muddle. Well, really, we just want to give it a pressing to release the oils. We don't want to pulverize the leaves too much. And with those leaves good and pressed, then we add our bourbon, 2½ generous ounces. And then we add some crushed ice. We give this a stir to combine the simple syrup and the bourbon, but we don't want to agitate it too much because we don't want to disperse those leaves too far throughout the cup. We top it off with some more of our crushed ice. And then we garnish it with, of course, a fresh sprig of mint. And there you have a mint julep. As always, thank you for spending your time with us here at Broadway Barfly. If you are enjoying the channel, I hope you'll subscribe. I always appreciate when you give us a thumbs up or leave a comment or share a video with your friends. So until the next time, cheers. If you enjoyed the video, why not give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends? Feel free to leave your comments and click that subscribe button because there's a lot more Broadway Barfly to come.